He's Metz. He's Tass. It's the Metzger and Tassoul Show.
Very nice.
Hey, Tass.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, buddy. Whoa! When did you decide to go with the mohawk?
Yeah, he got a little tight, didn't he?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're Bruce Willis, Die Hard, 1989.
That's right, baby. A new haircut for the new year.
Dude, I had that haircut in 11th grade, I think.
Yeah. Until you had no hair in 12th grade.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, "What are we doing?" I said, "Short on the sides, finger length on top." He said, "Skin?" I said, "Sure." I just assumed that was a number 1 on the sides. And when he took the first one off, I went, my eyes got big. And I'm like, well, I guess we're going skin.
Silverman just came in and asked me to pause it 1 second.
Oh, sure. No problem.
I mean,
Happy New Year, Sil.
Hey, Happy New Year. Unfortunately, live streams don't pause. Sorry, Sil. But anyway. Hey, it's beautiful weather here. How's it weather there? That's great. Wonderful. Let's get into business.
I see we're starting the year off the same way. Mets will do all the talking.
Well, they always say when something works, don't fix it.
That's right. So we should probably fix it because we haven't had a lot of viewers this last year.
Yeah, record.
Did you get a little ding in jiu-jitsu this morning or what?
Dude, no, I think I had a testosterone spike. and it started.
Good for you.
Thank you.
That's all those years of the things that we say behind the scenes. So that's one horn starting to grow. The other one's going to start coming soon. I
did do jiu-jitsu this morning, and I did train this week and this morning and tomorrow. And it's hard to just even get out of the chair because I also started Chelsea's again this week.
Oh boy.
And my entire body is just sore.
I bet.
Anyway.
Well, good for you.
Well, welcome everybody. Perry, can you guys comment? Comment just to make us feel better. Before you keep scrolling on Facebook, just say hello or something. Well, there they go. There's 2 down. 2 are like, nope, I'm out. Perry, can you comment for us? Just get it started.
So we know we're live.
There you go. Thank you. Send her a check for $1,000 Century Credit. A check, $1,000 Century Credit. There you go. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Anthony Gonzalez.
Oh, look at there.
Arsamont. All right. Thank you, Mr. Arsamont, for watching. Hey, here's the question. Oh, Ernie Palesco. He's watching. I hope he's on his lunch break.
This will be 45 minutes of your life you guys never get back. Mr.
Right,
Lopez.
Here's the serious talk. You guys know it. This industry knows it. Most people in this country in America know it, probably worldwide. But when are you going to take another step forward in whatever it is that you really want to get out of life, your business, your career? You cannot just stay on autopilot. You cannot keep doing what you're doing and just tell yourself, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, but this year I'm going to do it better. You can't do that. The theme of this show is, what are you going to do to have a record 2023? And we're talking about 2023 having a record in business. This is not the Psychology Today show where we're going to talk about you individually or personally. We're talking about your business. And what are you going to do different that you didn't do last year? And I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to Tassoul. I'm talking to Mr. Arsamont, who's also a My Elite consultant. I'm talking to everybody. Because whatever you did, you got to make tweaks. You got to do a little bit more, right? Or you got to do a little bit more, a little bit better. But you can't You know, it's so interesting, Tass. Here's an example, right? You hear the cliche, you hear the phrase that, you know,
Gotcha.
what got you where you are today won't get you to where you want to be tomorrow.
Right.
But that is so true. When I was like looking at goals for the new year, and I was looking at where we are today, compared to where I was yesterday, let's say, it's impossible. And one of the things specifically I'm talking about is having an executive level and having a directors of operations for the schools, because for years we didn't have that position. And I, as the owner and having managers in the schools, we were running it. And guess what, everybody? This is important. We were breaking records every year. Since 2012, we had a record year every year since 2012, right?
Yeah.
But I was just telling Silverman, I'll just be transparent. We from last year, which was a record year, to this year, grew over 25%.
It's a big number.
You didn't have the directors of operations, Nick Peterman, Obeda Benwali, Eric Santa Maria. If we didn't have that level, I still think we probably would have had a record year, but it would have been incremental, like it's been, right? Incremental, not explosive. So what is it that you're going to do differently this year to really give you and your staff the career that you dream of, that you really want? And by the way, real quick, I know everyone says I'm successful now, I love everything. Would you like to make it better for your staff? Or would you like to give your students an opportunity to be staff, whatever that is? But go ahead, Tess.
I was going to say, how long you guys been in business in the Orlando area?
30. This will be 31 years this year.
So 31 years, and here you are 30 years later, right?
Last year, 32 years. 32
okay.
years this year.
32 years. So last year, 31 years in business. And you guys grew by 25%. So it's not like you guys are new, right? You're not new in the industry, and we had an okay year, and we were able to have these huge leaps of growth to grow an existing company that's very seasoned by 25%. That's a big deal. I mean, that's a really big deal. And I think, we work with schools all the time that are just getting started and maybe not be systemized in their school and not have all the right things in play. And 25%, though it can be a very big number in the situation that you guys are in, but some of these schools can grow 100 to 150% in their first several years because they just don't have all the right systems in place. So kudos to you guys. I mean, having that kind of growth, being seasoned in the systems and being seasoned in the business for so many years, a lot of times, I mean, if you compare it to the stock market last year, right? I mean, any kind of growth last year in your business would have been great, whether that was single digit, in this case, double digit growth, which is fantastic. So if you're listening, whether you're a seasoned school or whether you're, a newer school, or whether you just don't, maybe you don't have all the systems optimized in your school, you can absolutely grow. And I think you said it, there's some people that are comfortable where they're at. But here's the other thing is it's very, very difficult in business to stay at the same spot that you're at, right? You're either growing or you're dying. And I think personally, it's harder to try and stay in the same place than it is to actually grow, because that's a very hard thing to be able to predict and try and stay. And if you're trying to shoot for what you did last year, well, the idea is that what if you don't get there? You're going to fall short because you're not trying to exceed what you did last year, and have you happen to fall short, you're still over what you did last year. So, you say it all the time. What got you where you are isn't going to get you where you want to go. And sometimes that's just maybe doing more things, right? Maybe we need to do more things. Maybe we need to change our focus. I'll give an example, right? Maybe on the doing more things side, maybe that's, hey, I got to commit. When a lead comes in, I've got to commit to getting a hold of that lead within 5 minutes to get them in my door. And that's something maybe we haven't done before. But there may be also things that we have to stop doing, right? There's things we have to start to do, but there's things that we need to stop doing. And maybe some of those things are, we've got to stop showing up at 3 o'clock and expecting that we're going to be able to grow our business because our business actually needs more time, or vice versa. I need to start showing up earlier to get the things I need to get done so that we can grow. We can invest some time in what we're doing. We know that recruiting happens before classes start.
Okay, hold on. This is important because we're just talking. This is where you'd want to write something down. This is a free consulting right now that you're going into. That is a concept that needs to be filled in with details, but this is important for everyone to understand what Tassoul's about to say, because how often do you hear people say, I didn't have enough time, or I don't have enough time to do everything, right? So go ahead.
Yeah, if we're big on three things, right? In any business, and again, specifically to our business, we have to recruit. A lot of us think we just need more students, and by the way, we all do need new students. But the reality is that there's other things that we can do to maximize the revenue from the students that we have, and that's not coming through nickel and diming students and all the things that people think that are associated with it. But we do want to maximize what we're generating, just like any business wants to maximize the average purchase of what their customers getting. So we all need new students, and we know that, right? So recruitment happens before classes start in your martial arts school, right? So whether that's planning for what you're going to do, the marketing, lead calls as an example, emailing your leads, whatever it is, that all happens before classes. Now, you may schedule that introductory lesson during your class time, but that work happens, especially for those of you that are, one man or one woman operations, right? It's very difficult. You're not going to be able to do lead calls and recruitment during your prime time hours from 4 to 8 or 4 to 9 or whatever your hours are, because you're a one-person operation and your time is spent on the floor teaching. And that's why it's so important to understand that you have to get in early and be able to, when I say early, prior to 4 o'clock, and be diligent, be intentional about what am I doing to recruit new students this year, right? On the revenue side, so that's the second R is revenue, right? Revenue happens during class time, right? Because when we have a full appointment book, as an example, or we have people at our school that maybe need to renew and they're already at your school, or maybe you want the taboo upgrade, right? You want to upgrade them and they're trying out a new experience in a new class. Well, all of the revenue generating activities, taking money for a parent night out or for all these controversial things, a testing fee or whatever it may be, all of those things happen during class times, and specifically retention. And that's the third R. Retention happens during class time as well. We all know that we have to teach great classes, but we all think we teach great classes. And then when we look at our attrition, which is to say the number of students that you're losing on a monthly and annual basis, if you take a school that has 100 students as an example, and they have a 4% attrition rate, which is an okay attrition rate. I'd say you should be closer to 3% with 100 students, because you just have a better relationship with 100 students. A school that's got 300, 400, 500 students, having a 4 or 5% attrition rate, we're in the ballpark. But if you have 100 students and you're losing 4 students a month, that's 48 students a year that you're losing from your business and from your company. So why are we losing them? And we may know those numbers, but this is, and I'll give you this little nugget too. This is one of the things that I've been really adamant about with clients is, know your numbers, which I always talk about, and nobody likes stats, but you can say I've got a 4%, 3%, 5% attrition rate. But then the question is, where are you losing those people? So here's a nugget for you. I would take your entire roster of your people that you lost in 2022. So go through everyone that you lost in 2022, write down their name, write down the program they were on, and write down what belt level they were when they stopped attending classes. And if you do that, Phoenix, you should be watching the show. If you do that, you're gonna there's something is gonna scream off of that paper to you, and you might see of the 48 students, there's gonna be a hot spot. They may be 48 of the 48. You might have 30 of those people that were yellow belts or orange belts in a basics program. I don't know what it's going to be for your school, but something is going to scream off that paper. So instead of just saying, gosh, we really got to teach great classes to keep everybody. Okay, maybe. And that of course that works. But if we want to get better, we got to know where is the biggest hole in the boat right now, and what do we need to do to fix that? And then you can have something that you can target an area and go, okay, here's where our hot spot is, where we're losing 60 to 80% of our students. Let's get that fixed, and let's see how that changes things. And I won't go through the whole attrition and how much it's costing, the potential revenue you're leaving on the table, but most people don't understand that retention is one of the 5 profit centers. And it is, yeah, if I lose a student, they're paying $150 a month, I lose $150 a month. It's way, way bigger than that. And it's potentially, if you're a school of 100 students or more, it's costing you tens of thousands of dollars a year by just you're improving your retention by just 1% or decreasing your attrition by 1%. So, this is where we talk about, it's the new year and stats, and nobody wants to talk about the numbers. But if you really want to have an impact on your business, you can't go by gut. If you want to go by gut feel, you can, right? And you may be surprised you're surprised because you hit the number or the goal. You may be surprised that you didn't hit the number or the goal. But if you want a clear path to know how to get to from where you are to where you want to go, knowing those things, knowing these numbers is going to allow you to inspect what you expect. And if your gut was right, you'll validate that through your stats and through your numbers. But sometimes we get very surprised with what we thought we were doing, which is in comparison to where we actually are. So those are just some nuggets for you guys, as you're kind of thinking about what do we want this year to look like, some things for you to kind of go back, and we hear the expression all the time, inspect what you expect. And if your gut feel was right, well, fantastic. You validate that, right? And you move on, you move forward. But if not, it's a great opportunity for you to course correct and get to where you want to
go. So just to sum that up, we got to recruit, we got to retain students and generate revenue. Now, here's the question for a lot of you who may have a debate on this. Does anybody remember TAS? I don't even know if it was national. I think it was there was an electronics company here that sold TVs, car stereos, electronics. It was called Time and Sound. It may have only been here in Orlando. But you remember Sound Advice, right? Or Circuit City?
Circuit City, yeah. Circuit City is familiar,
yeah. But Best Buy's in town. Best Buy, right?
Yeah.
So like Time and Sound, they might have been just a mom and pop local in Orlando or whatever. But anyway, they're out of business, right? Well, when Best Buy or a company came around and they start generating millions and millions of dollars, and by the way, Best Buy went through a rough patch too, but they're doing fantastic now. Do they nickel and dime their customers? I mean, you got to think about it. They don't. One of the things that they did was they will price match. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go to Best Buy, they will price match with any other retailer or Amazon. If it's shipped and sold from Amazon, not if it's shipped from Amazon, but some other company, but shipped and sold from Amazon, they'll match the price, right? But they have all these options. We got to run our business like that. You have to give your customers options. If Samsung only put out one TV and said, no, we're not going to cheat our customers, we're only going to have one TV, that's it, they would be out of business or they would be struggling. You wouldn't have heard of Samsung. Same thing with the martial arts schools. Samsung as a core product, let's just say in this example, as an example, maybe their core product something else, but televisions. A lot of people have a Samsung television. They have a core product. Everyone's going to get a phenomenal picture. Everyone's going to get sound, but there's different levels of picture. If I live in an apartment, I don't need an 85-inch television. I don't need it. If I'm a student who wants to join martial arts, and I'm just there to get discipline and focus and learn Taekwondo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you should let me train at your school and just get Taekwondo or Jiu-Jitsu and get to black belt without ever having to buy the 85-inch TV or without ever having to pay extra to teach me competition training when I have zero interest in that. However, you should have it on your menu for people as an extra service if they want that. But when a student comes into your school, you should teach them the art, your core competency, your core art, and never have to make them pay any more money to get there. Period. Why am I bringing this up now? I'm bringing it up because if you look at the screen, it says, stay tuned to hear a record that has been set in the martial arts industry. This is not verified, but I've been consulting schools for 20 years. I've been running schools for over 30 years, and I have been a student for over 40 some years. And I don't think any other school has done this. But we do, as you all know, probably you know, we do a holiday event. It's not forced on anybody. We do once a year a sale to give our customers an opportunity to just save money on anything that they want, whether it's a uniform, a sparring gear, weapons, private lesson packages, or on a program, that we offer. This is a text message. I'm not going to mention this person's name or where they're from because they don't like, broadcasting it. But a one-day sale, everybody, a one-day sale at their holiday event. This was the text thread that went through between this person and myself. And this is not contract amount. This is cash in the bank. And I think this is important because I would not understand any one person that's watching this right now that would not want to have one day where you generate this kind of revenue just because you offer services or options to your customers without forcing. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to do that and let your customers decide what they see value in. But here it is. Tass, you're my guy if you can read it.
270,000. Really phenomenal. Can I share? Yes. Congratulations again, my friend, and to your team. Way to raise the bar. Do you have the exact amount? $271,700. Awesome. Yeah.
In one sale. And his customers, his students are world class, by the way, world class. He's a world champion. They're happy. He's happy. His team's happy. Go ahead.
Put it in perspective also, because some people, they must have 1,000 students at that school.
So hold on. Let's go further in the text, folks. I just screenshot it to hide the name.
For those of you that are watching and going, well, that's just not, there's no way. There's no possible way. It's unbelievable. Listen, it was unbelievable for us to hear that number as well. But I assure you that that's a real number. It's not contract value. And I know he said it, but I want to emphasize it, right? A lot of people, when they talk martial art business dollars, they like to feed the ego when they want to talk about what they did in contract value. This is money collected and deposited in the bank account, which is unbelievable.
Well, the student thing, because I asked him, he's between 350 and 400 students.
There you go.
But I'll show you this. Well, here's what it is. When I asked permission if I can share that number, he said, yes, I can share it with our fellow Maya Elite clients inside our little bubble. He doesn't want it shared out to the world with his name on it and this, that, and the other. But I got to be careful here. But here's how, can't even do this. Here's the other thing. So I'm just going to read it to you, right? This was on December 12th. They were at 318,000 so far for the month on December 12th in revenue. I said, it's simply incredible. He says, you better train me to be a consultant. Every time you mention me, my phone blows up for days after the events. I just don't mention it to you and revert them. I just don't mention it and I revert them back to you, to Maya, he says. But year to date in one location, everyone, do you understand this is life-changing for your whole team when you can do this? Year to date was, as of December 12th, year to date was one location, one school, $1,837,779. And then, and then it goes on. And He goes on to say, my team would like to thank you. My team would like to thank you, because I'm trying to tell you that forget about you as an owner or whoever's listening to this. It's about taking care of your team. So when we train schools, or if you grow your school, if you ever work with us, we are going to tell you and teach you how to share the success with your team, because we are smart enough to know that we are nothing without our team, right? So my team would like to thank you. We talk about you often. Well, I do, LOL, he says. When we are all together for a meeting, either tomorrow or next week, can I video call you? I said, of course. So anyway, my point is I get passionate. You know, every time we start this show, I think I'm going to stay calm, right? And I want to, I want, my legacy is I want to change this industry. I don't want to change the industry. I want to make it better. I want to professionalize the industry. Shane, you've been there. I've been there. We've all been struggling. We've all been a struggling martial artist and a martial arts school. I wanted to accomplish two things. How can we make our students better and have better quality, the best students we could produce? And how can we be the best business in the world? How can we strive to compete when I have a black belt student who has a degree or going to college, they want to be an engineer? How can I compete and give them an opportunity to also have a career in martial arts with compensation and benefits and packages and retirement plans and everything? That was our goal. And we're accomplishing that goal. And I'd like to make sure or do anything I can to help all of you accomplish that goal.
You know, sometimes I don't know if everyone realizes, and I'm going to use the word luck, but how lucky you are to be in this industry, because, you know, this industry is an unbelievable opportunity. Not only, number one, to change lives. You're not selling widgets and trinkets, right? You're changing lives, and maybe, you know, saving lives as well, right? Number one. Number two, we're in an industry where we have recurring revenue, right? You have monthly revenue that's coming in from your in tuition dollars, if you will. Number three, if you're doing them, and every business has it, and you should as well, there's an ascension model. There's a way to get people the opportunity, and like you said, the option, if they want a higher level of training. And those typically come, they don't have to, but they typically come with a bigger commitment, right? So then we have longevity. So we have all these things, and I look around and I see other businesses trying to take that model and bring it to their business. The local car wash, they have a deal. It's $39.99 a month, and you can have unlimited car washes, right? So instead of hoping that you're going to come 2, 3, 4 times a month, they're saying, we're going to sell you this pass, and you can pull your car up anytime. It recognizes the gate opens. You go to the car wash. You can have unlimited car washes. It's one a day, right? And go through the deal. Best Buy. You go to Best Buy, and you decide that you want to get the whatever size TV you want and the Sonos package to go with it, the speakers and such. Best Buy is now offering something called Total Tech. Total Tech is a $199 a year membership. And whatever you buy from Best Buy, they'll come to your house and they'll set it up for you. I mean, and they're hoping people renew that $199 a year membership, right? Can you imagine the millions of customers that Best Buy has? And now they have this membership that they offer. You don't have to get it, right? I ended up getting it because I thought there was good value. If they just came out one time and set stuff up for me, okay, it's something I don't have to do. But that also was a great deal because you can't go to Amazon and buy a mount for your TV and call Best Buy Total Tech for them to come and set it up. You've got to buy it from Best Buy for them to come and set it up. So it's a brilliant plan. But there's a lot of businesses that are trying to get into the recurring revenue game as opposed to, you know, the one and done type sale. We have all of that. We have recurring revenue. We've got the ascension model. We've got all those things, and we're changing lives besides, right? And that's why I just say we are in an unbelievable business. And if you do it right, it can provide for you, it can provide for your family, and it can provide for your team and your team's families. And that's what's so incredible about it. And it's just a fun place to be.
Hey, listen, put on your calendars, everybody. Wednesday, January 18th. Is that Wednesday, the 18th? Yeah. Wednesday, January 18th, I'm doing a free webinar. And I've covered this before in the past, but it's important going into 2023. I'm going to go over my 10 non-negotiables in running a martial arts school. 10 things that are just non-negotiable if I want to be successful. And I'm going to go through it. I'm sure we'll have the file for everybody to have. It's free. It's a free webinar. There were talks. What should we charge? Should we charge $49? I don't want to charge. I want to do this for free. So it's Wednesday, January 18th. I think I'm doing it at noon Eastern time. I'm always so good at pitches, right? At selling. But mark your calendars because I'm going to go through some things and I'm going to be very transparent with everybody. I'm looking around. Miss Connor has it. But on there, I'm going to show you one of my, I'm going to dive into something that's extremely educational for all of you. That's going to really enlighten you with sharing some of these things that I'm going to do. So free webinar is January 18th, but the thing that's going to change your life for 2023 is make sure that you're not going through life with blinders. Rip them off so you can see everything and take in the good, take in the things that you believe might be able to help you in your personal life, in your financial life, in your career, and anything. But don't be closed-minded and don't shut things off or you're just never going to grow. You're going to justify and make excuses. That's what you're going to do. So if you want to have a record, 2023, explore and see what's out there. You may not like our personalities. I say that all the time, right? You may not, but I can damn sure promise you we have some good information. Maybe you don't like all of our information, but there's not one person on here that wouldn't like some of the things that we're going to tell you that you would really be like, that's a good idea, right? And if you did that with us and this group over here and this group over there and that group over there, you could get some really good ideas. Then it's just about execution. You got to implement these things, but you got to systemize it. And that's another thing I feel we're very good at doing is systemizing. I saw, and I may be reading it wrong. I don't know. I saw a comment, Mr. Boutwell, one of the things that you said you're going to do going into 2023 to have a record, stop trusting others to do what has my name on it. What does that mean to you, Tass?
Well, it's interesting. Before I answer that question, I think what I was going to say about making this a great year is, and I've had to tell myself this, sometimes we get so focused on the problems that we're not finding solutions, right? And I think when you hear yourself, whether it's a rant or being negative or talking about the problem, that does absolutely nothing for you, except keeps you in that lane, because nothing's going to change. And when you focus on the problem, you're going to get more problems. I think I just saw this somewhere. A teacher did this thing, and I was going to actually do this at the conference, but I'll give it away now. The teacher gave everyone a blank white piece of paper with a black dot on the middle, and then told them to turn the paper over and look at that and describe the piece of paper. And everybody described it as a black dot in the middle, but nobody talked about all the white space that was on the paper. So it was very interesting, right? Like that one small thing. And this can be the challenge with some of us is we focus so much on the problem that we're not looking at all the big picture. Like you said, take off the blinders and look around. And I think that's the challenge. I'm not sure how to take this comment, but to me, right, that's a problem, right? And it's maybe it's got to me, and I may be wrong on this, has a bit of a negative connotation to it, but I don't know if that means you're going to stop having instructors teach at your school because of your product and you want your product to be great. But I don't know. That's kind of how I take that.
Okay. And by the way, Mr. Boutwell, this is common, right? But I think I take it like you, Tass. I take it like, man, I can't trust other people to produce the quality or to give the service or the level of professionalism that has my name on it that I would get. That's a problem, but a problem that can be fixed. So when that happens, you know how many martial artists I know? One of my instructors, my own instructor, did that and got burned by different staff members and people he hired. One even was stealing and burned. And he's like, I'm done hiring people. I'm done. Well, that instructor is still working every day, like in a job every day, like as opposed to not everybody's like that. And we got to find ways to train and make sure that they give the quality and professionalism that we want. And that's so important for growth and expansion. So I would want to help with that. Well, that's different. Well, mainly tracking my KPIs and training staff. Sir, we can help, but here's the thing that I also will tell everybody. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time, and if you want to be successful, you got to grind in the beginning. You can't look at where we're at being in business 32 years and be like, well, I want to be where you're at next year. Like we weren't where we're at in a year. I mean, we went through ups, downs, learning from experience, closing schools, opening schools, moving schools. We've done it all and we've learned so much, but I've learned more from the industry, from all of you, working with all of you and hearing all of your challenges over 20 years. And my job was to find solutions. And that's what we talk about, Tass. You made a great point there that it's all about solutions. And I don't know if Tass fell asleep on us. Oh, there he is. Sorry, Tass. Your eyes were down, so I didn't see. But real quick, I was going to say, our job, when somebody hires us as a consultant, we better have a solution. That's our job. So when they say, hey, I have a problem here. I had a parent come in. I have a student that did this. Hey, I'm not getting enough new students. I'm not retaining good enough. I'm not generating enough revenue. I opened a school. I have too much. We had to sit there. Our job was to sit and figure out solutions. And when you do that for 20 years, one-on-one consulting, you guys have taught us so much. So we try to pass that on. So I want to say that. And by the way, I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Mark Moore, who's been dormant here for a long time. I haven't heard from you, buddy. So happy New Year to you. And I know you're killing it. I see your posts, your comments. When I do, I try to give it a thumbs up or whatever the appropriate Facebook social media thing is, the courteous thing. I'm not a guy on social media, but sir, you're awesome. And you're an inspiration to so many. Here's one of the best instructors around, I think. Tass and I have talked about Mr. Moore behind the scenes, how he's like the Tony Robbins on the floor. He's the man on the floor. So it's good to see you, sir. And
that's where my eyes were down, Metz, because I was looking up actually a quote from Tony Robbins. And there's actually two different ones that he has. One is a lot of people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade or two. That's one of them, right? But then the other quote that he has is turning decades into days. And so I think if you listen to the first quote, we overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in a decade or two. Well, that's long-term planning and all those types of things. And we can really, gain a lot of traction over, 10, 20 years. But I'm mindful when I say that because some of you may not have 10, 20 years, right? Some of you need to change things now.
Wow, the tone's changing. And that's not have 10 or 20 years. That's
yeah. But you need it fixed now. Like you need to get it fixed now. Thank you, Metz, for the violin. That's very nice. And so I think a more relevant quote is turning decades into days, because I also think that a lot of us maybe think you said it's going to be a marathon, right? And that goes to that quote as well. But don't let that become an excuse for you as to why you're not taking action, because I think that you can really amaze yourself with what can happen in a very short, a 90-day window in your school if you just get hyper-focused on taking your school to the next level, and specifically about the 3 R's that we talked about earlier on recruitment, retention, and revenue. It's amazing what can happen in a very short period of time. So I want that to be motivation for you guys, not like, oh my God, I got to wait another 10 years or 20 years to get where I want to go. That's not the case. what you've been doing's got you where you want to go. What you're going to execute and implement next is what's going to get you to where you want to go. And if you're where you want to be, then great. That's awesome. And we applaud that. And we're not here to try and convince you to do otherwise. But there's always rings in the back of my head. And this is Metz. Do you like options? Do you want to have options? And, money is simply a tool, and it just provides you with more options. That's it, and if you make enough and you want to be a philanthropist and give all of it away, you can certainly do that, right?
By the way, I'm sorry, and I didn't even put this up. Hold on. Here, guys, free webinar. That's the link. But here's what I was going to say. Listen, the reason I'm so passionate about this, you need to understand. There was a time, and I was just talking about this. When was I talking? It was this week. And I don't remember who I was talking to, but it was this week. You see, we don't have much time left, Tess. It was this week, and I don't remember who I was telling. I know what it was. It was Monday night when I was watching your Packers lose.
Oh boy, here we go.
That's when it was. We were having a conversation. I was hanging out with buddies. Hanging out with a couple buddies, watching the Packers go down in flames, and it's like I'm trying to enunciate that a little bit.
That's good.
So anyway, Monday night, watching Rodgers for the last time ever on a field. And we were talking about business, right? And I want you to hear something for those of you who are still on watching for some reason. I was talking about how my goal when I started my martial arts school, my goal was I just wanted to gross, not net, I just wanted to gross $10,000 a month in my school. If I can gross 10 grand a month, I said that'd be the dream come true. And I'll be honest, on the net, my goal personally, I had a goal. My friends and I would talk about it. I was like, man, this is a dream job. Tess said it. We have such an unbelievable job. If I can do this and make 50 grand a year profit, that's all I need. I said that'd be like a dream come true to make 50,000 a year. Here's a funny story, everybody.
He hit 48,000 last year. You got close.
And I'm going to hit 50 this year. Silverman and I, some of you don't know, but I've known Silverman since he was 22 years old, probably. He was 22. I was 6, I think. But he was about 22, but he was always like just focused business, even at a young age. And we were at a karate tournament. We were at a tournament and we were talking and I said, yeah, my goal, because he tells me this story. He says, I remember when we were at a tournament and we were talking and you said your goal was to make 50,000 a year and that would be your goal and that would be your end all be all. He goes, it was then that I knew we were different. Did you know that, Taz?
No.
Yeah. He goes, it was right then that I knew, okay, we're different. And, but that was the goal. So like Mr. Moore said, he loves how we're transparent. Yeah, we're transparent. We have 7 schools, but I pinch myself. I cannot believe where we've come since the days of doing that. And I just got this today. This is our whole year last year. And you're not going to be able to see that, I don't think.
$4,945,716.38.
And you see
which,
the
by
billing?
the way, the tuition, or what everyone would call a recurring billing check that everyone's always so concerned about, was only $2,062,000, which is way less than 50% of the total overall gross revenue.
If I would have thought, if somebody would have came and said, hey, someday with your martial arts schools, your company will gross just about $5 million. All I wanted to do was gross 120 grand. I mean, that's it. 120 grand. I am so, I keep saying passionate about trying to grab the industry by the collar, shake the industry and say, please, let me teach you guys all my mistakes. I don't even have to teach you my systems. Let me just teach you all the mistakes that I've made so you can avoid them and make you and your team better and have the best life you ever dreamed of in the martial arts industry. Just like that text message I showed you of the gentleman who did, well, watch this. You just called me an hour and a half ago because you were so excited and happy for someone, and we won't mention names. How old is this client?
36, maybe.
36?
That might be old. Might be 34, 35, somewhere in there.
He started with you as he was in his late 20s, right?
Yeah, 7 years ago.
Okay, so he's a bit 36, maybe?
Yep.
All right. What did you call me and tell me this person did in their one location?
Just under 1.4 million. No after school, no summer camp, just to get that out there too. Not there's anything
none of these schools, by the way, not my schools, none of these schools have the after school pickup program.
Right.
Not that there's
and I don't say that we don't say that's a knock, right? It's just we want to make sure that that everyone understands, like, oh, they must run a $300,000 summer camp or whatever. It's not the case, right?
And this person has how many buildings, commercial buildings?
2.
And what's the mortgage on those?
0.
Right. No mortgage.
Yeah.
Netting.
And some would argue, and by the way, no mortgage on the home. And some would argue that, right? But no mortgage on the home either. On anything. There's no debt.
I don't know what this show is about. I think the show is about motivating you to maybe just say, okay, let me see what these guys have to offer if I've never even seen these guys. Let me invest in myself this year and go to some different seminars and stuff, whether it's us or anyone else. That's what I think you should do, and learn not how to be good enough, but how to be the best you possibly can be. Not good enough, the best that you can be. And we have our seminar in Orlando, March 24th and 5th. If you're interested, contact Maya. But before any of that, get on the free webinar next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, there's the link. The link is there. I'm going to go over, I said, my 10 non-negotiables that I think every school owner needs to know and have in place to maximize your success. It's free, and I'll try to keep it to an hour or 90 minutes or whatever.
And don't mistake free with no value. I mean,
well, that's why they wanted to charge, right? They wanted to charge. There was talk, let's charge for it. And I'm like, that's the truth. Like, when you do something for free, people jump on late, they'll get off early, they'll do this. But if you pay for it, then you'll probably pay a little more attention, this, that, and the other. But if you're not going to pay attention, I don't want you on it anyway. I mean, so this is only for people who really want to learn and maybe get something out of it. Maybe I go over 10 non-negotiables and you get only one that resonates with you. That's all you need, right? That's fine. So Wednesday, free at, I think, noon Eastern, but I don't know. Click that link and that'll tell you, right? I just do what I'm told around here. I got a bunch of women running this place. Here's one now. Just say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
There it is. Thank you, Mr. Perry.
Oh man.
So click
there's a little golden nugget for you. Culture. Have fun in your business too.
And by the way, guys,
bada boom.
March 24th and 5th.
Such a tease.
The whole thing, man. And we only can take, well, here's the call to action. I think I've been honest with you guys all the time, but we can only take 20 non-elite schools. The first 20 that non-elite schools can go to our March event just because of capacity and seating. So if you want to meet the person who did over 270,000 in one day and just pick their brain at dinner, because we treat everyone to dinner, register for the event. If you want to meet the person, I just asked you, about the client who did 1.3, owns both buildings outright, this, that, and the other. He's 35, 6 years old, whatever he is. He'll be there. I asked you, is he going to be there in March? Yes, he's going to be there. I'm going to be there. We also, for any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools, here breaking news. I didn't even ask him yet, but I'm going to ask Jason Patino to come on the Mets Tassoul show in 2 weeks. I may not be on this next week because in my neighborhood where I live, they're having the LPGA Pro-Am Thursday. It starts Thursday with celebrities golfing with the women's golfers for the tournament. It's the LPGA Pro-Am. And my brother, who's lived in Pennsylvania for 53 years, finally moved here. And I leave for a vacation on Friday. So I said, hey, if you could get off work and meet me Thursday, I'll take you out, just to get some brother time in and walk around, because he wants to meet the guy from The Office, is one of the celebrities. And my brother works for a book company that makes books, and this guy put out a chili book. I didn't watch The Office. Kevin, I think, is that his name? Kevin from The Office? Does anyone know?
I didn't watch it either. I have no idea.
Well, here we go. Now we'll get all the comments. Now people will be like, yes, his name's Kevin. But I don't care if you tell me how to make $250,000 in a day. It's The Office. His name's Kevin. I think it's Kevin on the show. He put out a chili cookbook, and my brother is the one who organized all that on the tech side and everything. So he'd love to just shake hands with him or whatever. But
that's cool.
Anyway, there you go, guys.
Good.
Our next Wednesday, and we have our All Systems Go. Click that link.
Yep. And you guys know, as always, if you guys need anything at all, shoot us a Facebook message, either one of us, or I know Mr. Klingmeyer was on here, Mr. Arsamont was on here. We're happy to help and jump on a call with you. And if we think we can help you, we'll let you know. And if we don't think we can help, we'll let you know that as well. So no harm in reaching out.
Right.
All right.
If I think he can help you, just call me.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Tass. Anything else? You want to leave any good word before we sign off?
No, we did all that already. There's no more good words. Just go take action, everybody.
Go take action. Thank you, guys. Tass.
Appreciate everybody.
We'll touch base.
All right, guys. We'll talk later. Bye-bye, everyone.